At this point, we're all hopefully familiar with the way light sources work in Minecraft, but what if they could cast actual shadows? Answer, it'd be really cursed and it would probably crash your game. So a couple of weeks ago, I was DM'd on Discord by YouTuber NiceName, who wanted to just bounce some ideas off of me and talk about how ray tracing works in Minecraft. He wanted to explore the capabilities of display entities, which can have their light levels modified independent of the light levels around them. So for example, like you're seeing here, if you have a light source, you can actually tell the game to ray trace away from that light source and light up the display entities that fall in that path. Any display entities that can't be seen by the light source, like these ones over here, remain dark. We had a really fun conversation. While we were at it, Nice actually went and put together a ray tracing program himself using Python, and earlier today he actually posted his own video explaining the theory of this stuff, which I highly recommend you go watch. I will definitely leave a link down below in the description. But in the process of all that, as you can probably see, I actually got super inspired as well and decided to make my own version of a ray traced light data pack. And yes, you heard me right. This is just a data pack. I don't have any resource packs or shaders or anything going on. So how does this actually work? Well, the primary focus of my data pack is actually being user friendly and allowing the user to actually play around with this light ray tracing stuff as much as they want interactively in-game. To use the pack, there's just one command you have to run, and it's just this function, lightray get wands. If I run this, I'll get 2 wands in my inventory. The first one is the converter wand, and the idea behind this one is that if I click any block with it, that block will be converted to a display entity that can then be ray traced. So let's say I've built a little scene, and I have a light source, and I want to apply that ray tracing that you saw earlier to this little scene. One way I could do that is actually to just go around, click every single block with this wand, and it will start turning them all into block displays. Now you'll notice that when I actually click the torch, it will start ray tracing the block displays that have already been converted so that the torch can cast a shadow on, whatever block displays there are. And then if I just turn the rest of these also into displays, well, those will also follow the ray tracing scheme. So now I've got a little scene set up where this torch is shining its light everywhere and this log is casting a shadow behind it. I can jump on these blocks because the solid blocks actually have barriers inside them. So the torch and the grass and the log, the actual visuals of those are just block displays like I said, but I'm able to walk around on these because there are barrier blocks here. If I'm done and want to turn this back into regular blocks, I can use this second wand, the reverter wand, and one click of that will turn every block display back into a regular old block. As you can see, these are now just regular old grass and oak and torches. Okay, so that's pretty handy, but let's say I've actually built a much bigger scene and I really don't want to take the time to actually go around and click every single block using my converter wand. What I can do instead is actually set up a structure block. I want to put it in save mode, and then all I'm going to do is just use the structure block to generate a bounding box around this scene that I want to ray trace. So if I just apply this bounding box, you'll see it's encompassed the entire build, and now all I have to do is actually just click the structure block using the converter wand, and it will convert every single block inside the bounding box into a display. Now you can see here I've actually got 2 light sources. I've got 2 different pieces of glow lichen, and these 2 stone blocks are blocking their ray tracing, right? So this block right here has a stone block in the way of both light sources, meaning it's dark, but this one here can see that light source, but not that light source. So it's actually going to be pretty dim because it's rather far from the one light source it can see. And then again, once I'm done, all I have to do is click with the reverter wand and everything will go back to normal. Sort of. Not all the blocks interact very cleanly with this pack. Some of them are a little bit glitchy, but it's easy fix. Okay, so that's basically how the pack works. Now your next question might be, what else can we do with this? Well, in Nice's video, he had animations, so I thought I'd take a crack at doing something similar. The way I have it coded up, technically anything can be a light source, not just the block displays. You just have to know how to summon it. So I've summoned an allay and given it the properties of a light source, and I'm watching it wander around and actually cast shadows inside this room. Here, let's have him pick something up so we can actually see the shadows he's casting. Oh, he doesn't even care. Wait, what? Are you an idiot? Come here, pick up the redstone. Wow. You don't care, do you? Either this is a bug or I'm missing something. But anyway, you can see him moving around and he's actually casting shadows as he moves. Now full disclosure, this is where the ticking is coming from. I just have a command block that's reapplying the ray tracing every, fraction of a second. I don't know how redstone works. You can even watch this happening from the outside. You can kind of see where the allay is, because if you illuminate one side of a block display, you illuminate every side of it, so the outside of this box will also get lit up. If you want to try that, here's the command I used, and then of course I just used the wand on a a hollow box of stone in order to actually generate all these block displays. Point is, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with this. At this point, it's entirely possible that you might be watching this video and saying, what the heck is going on? What is the point of any of this? And as I pressed F5 to answer that question, I realized that you can actually see through my head through the block display. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. What the heck? I can see the ground through this. That's... oh my gosh. Can you see the allay? No, you can't even see the allay! What the heck? Okay, anyway, sorry, on topic. What's the point of all this? Well, like I said, Nice Name was inspired, and by talking to me about it, he also inspired me. He also went ahead and released a video on his channel about this very topic a couple of hours ago, and he does an amazing job of actually explaining how light ray tracing works and what the principles behind it all are. So as I already stressed, I would highly recommend you go and watch that video if you want to see more about this stuff. My purpose for doing this is that I wanted to make it as a data pack that is super user-friendly. Nice has actually provided a download on his video to what I believe is a Python program if you actually want to try out his method for yourself. And his is actually a lot more capable than mine. You can set up like block display animations and everything. His approach is super cool. The difference with mine is that it's just a data pack, and like I said, you can actually convert any block you want into a display, or use a structure block to do the whole thing. And the point is that it's just super user-friendly. Light ray tracing for babies, if you will. So obviously the download for this data pack is in the description of this video if you want to get it for yourself. This video was real quick and fun. I don't really have much to say that Nice himself hasn't already said, so thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Goodbye, my dudes.